All right, Shalom. Call Law Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone who do teach and rule well, and do the spirit and the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai taught us this 100% truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the house of David, the hopeful elect, you Hakim out there pushing his word in truth and sincerity. To those you liken unto the speckled bird, scattered to the four corners, speaking in different tongues, unto you we say Shalom. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 11, verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right. We are, entering and have been, for some time now in the season of prophecy. All right. And specifically, what prophecies? End time prophecies. All right. And that is Esau's end. All right. As scripture says, okay, Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Okay, so we are at the end time of Esau's rulership, okay, and slowly but quickly entering in the time of Jacob's rulership. All right, and that third woe, okay, being the Third World War, okay, is quickly being ushered in. All right. You have China that has been preparing for war for years now. Okay. You have Iran, okay, which I have an article here going into their nuclear capabilities. All right. They have been, all right, at odds and condemning, okay, America, okay, which we know to be Babylon. All right. Also, as scripture says, spiritual Sodom in Egypt. Okay. And also those FJs. All right. Those fake Jews that reside in the land of Israel today. All right. As Iran likes to say, America is the great Satan and Israel is the little Satan. All right. But nonetheless, okay, we have seen and we still see, all right, that the nations, are prepared, all right, and they're still preparing, all right. They are increasing, their war games, okay, their strategies. They are removing themselves from certain treaties, okay. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is, putting it, all right, in their spirit to make calculated decisions, all right, and really those calculated decisions are representative of what Yahweh Bashem Yahushai desires. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get this article real quick. Okay. Because ultimately, all right, this is really it's gonna pinpoint. It's gonna show you how desperate, all right, this harlot, this defiled, ridiculous place America is. Okay. So the IAEA, all right, which is basically the international group for atomic regulation. All right. Matter of fact, let me just get it for edification's sake. International Atomic Energy Agency. All right. They basically let me see if it just says it on overview, but they basically they monitor all of the atomic places, the sites. They go do basically check to make sure that everything is under regulation. Again, just as it says, International Center for Cooperation in the Nuclear Field. All right. So you got these people, they go to different nations. Okay. They ensure, that your so-called nuclear capabilities are within the standards of which the nations have agreed to. All right. And of course, really, that's going into the great whore, and the mother of the great whore. All right. As they like to say, the queen, and because really America, all right, is a byproduct, okay, of, that that particular monarchy, if you will, of Esau's bloodline over there. All right. So after many months, Iran has not provided the necessary explanation for the presence of the nuclear material particles at the 3 locations where the agency has conducted complementary accesses. Okay. So basically, they're concerned because they found ultimately that Iran, is doing what they supposed to be doing, man. All right. And that is enriching that uranium. Okay. And ultimately increasing their capabilities. Okay. So that way they can have fun and, partake in the destruction of America. Okay. The Director General Rafael Grossi on Monday told the organization's Board of Governors that he is deeply concerned that Iran is hiding nuclear material, given its refusal to clarify open issues over an extended period. After many months, Iran has not provided the necessary explanation for the presence of the nuclear material particles. All right, let me just skip a little bit down. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Nor has Iran answered the questions with regard to the other undeclared location or clarified the current location of natural uranium in the form of a metal disc. Okay, so there it is, man. All right, in the form of a metal disc. Okay, that could be referring to the base of a nuclear weapon. Okay, and then not only that, they have other undeclared locations. Okay, so basically, you can say that Iran is working double time, man, or possibly even triple time, if you will, because they said 3 locations. All right, so they are trying to make up, all right, the time that they lost, when, America and Israel sent out that Stuxnet virus. All right, that was years ago. Okay, and it basically crippled, their capabilities at the time by damaging centrifuges that were being utilized. Okay, then you had most recently the assassination that took place of one of Iran's top scientists. Okay. That Israel carried out. They had like a whole 14-man team. They bombed the cars. A very calculated effort, okay, to stop ultimately prophecy. All right, that's really what it is. Okay, they're trying to stop prophecy. All right, starting really with those FJs, okay, over there in Israel, trying to stop. All right, what Yahweh Bashem Yahushai already has planned out. And that's why he put it in their spirit to do certain things, all right, such as, drastically bomb the Gaza Strip, such as carry out that assassination in broad daylight with car bombings, because when you do those things are vexing, okay, because ultimately it shows your lawlessness, all right, it shows that ultimately, with everything that you have done behind the shadows of the world, which really you have no room to talk or complain about Iran wanting to obliterate you off the face of the earth, all right, because you don't belong there anyway, all right. So not only do you wear that pride, as scripture says, you wear that pride proudly, okay, but not only that, all right, you are deceitful, okay. Those FJs over there, man, they are snakes, man. All right. And just through the spirit, just to make mention of it, I remember watching a documentary. All right. And this shows, just how vile they are. Okay. And to what lengths they are willing to go. All right. I was watching a documentary of, former Mossad agents, which are their, part of that. That's like their CIA or, their agency. Okay. And basically, it was going into how these people, when they were doing certain things, they would realize that, the individual that they were dealing with of the same sex wanted them, and they would give them what they wanted, man. They would do all types of defiled shit just to, gain whatever whatever plan they had in motion, just for it to succeed, man. All right. And that's these people, man. They will go to whatever length. That's Esau, man. Esau will go to whatever length, man. Okay? Hey, and it's spiritual, even destroying himself. Okay? Even destroying himself. All right? You see it all the time in movies. Okay? You have depictions of it. All right? By way. Okay? Let me just get it. All right? I always get this, by way of the snake eating its own tail. Okay? That serpent. All right? Which we know is who? Esau Edom, man. Nonetheless, let's see here. Okay, here we go. The lack of progress in clarifying the agency's questions concerning the correctness and completeness of Iran's safeguards declaration seriously affects the ability of the agency to provide assurance of the peaceful nature of Iran's nuclear program, right? Because that's all what's it about. It's all about their nuclear program being peaceful, okay? Because of the fact that they don't want them to have nuclear capabilities, all right? They don't want them, because ultimately it's what the Great Whore wants, okay? And the Great Whore being in league with those rats over there, that's ultimately what those rats want, all right? Those rats don't want to be wiped off the face of the earth, man, all right? That's ultimately what it is, man, okay? That's why it's only, you can have it, for peaceful purposes, for energy. That's what they were saying before. We're doing it for energy. We're doing it for this. We're doing it for that. All right. But nonetheless, okay, that doesn't matter, man, because ultimately you're going against prophecy. Okay. And it's beautiful because ultimately it shows, like I was saying earlier, it shows how desperate this whore is to keep control. All right. This whore wants to, which is all through the spirit, but as it reads, the U.S. and Europe dismiss the atomic energy warning in hope of reviving Iran nuclear deal. Okay. So again, they're like, you know what? Let's just not worry about that because we're trying to get this nuclear deal in place. Let's just focus on that. All right. And it shows you how desperate, all right, this whore wants to maintain control, man. All right. Because she maintains control through her treaties, through those international agreements. All right. Through the organizing of these foundations. All right. And having a so-called say-so. All right. In the in the United Nations Security Council. All right. The ability to veto certain laws that are presented. Okay. And who's going to stand up against America? Who's going to say no? But let's just get this real quick. All right. The U.S. and Europe have decided to set aside a fresh warning from the Director General of the IAEA that it is no longer possible to say with confidence whether Iran is seeking to build a bomb as they press on with attempting to revive its nuclear deal with the West. You see that? All about the great whore trying to keep that power. All right, Rev 18:3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Right? Okay. So this is ultimately, you could kind of say Iran is one of the last merchants. Okay, if we're being realistic. Okay, because ultimately, Iran, all right, is one of the really one of the last countries, if I recall correctly, that Esau, back in the early 2000s or late 1990s, their Pentagon, they have released a memo in the Pentagon about which so-called Middle East countries they were going to attack. All right, and all of those countries didn't have a centralized banking system that was part of the elite banking families. All right. And ultimately, if I recall correctly, Iran was the last one that they were going to invade. OK, so ultimately here you see it, man. All right. You see, how far and how desperate, they're willing to go. All right. And ultimately, just like Esau being a serpent that he is. OK, because, Esau, he'll have something in front of him, and like a white sheet of paper, and he'll say, oh, well, we can't be 100% sure it's white. It could be off-white. It could be a different, like a different shade. All right. That's how vain Esau is, man. All right. And it's the same thing here. All right. You can clearly see, why would you have a metal disc of uranium? Okay. What can you say is for so-called peaceful purposes of that metal disc? All right. But here it is. All right. They are trying to maintain that power. Okay. Because ultimately, if you have, all right, these treaties, if you have this money going out and coming in, okay, you have control. All right. Whoever controls the money has control, and that's what's happening. Okay. They're trying to gain control. All right. To ultimately get back what they have lost. And that's the power. All right. America has lost its power. You can't get it back. All right. And basically trying to do something like this with Iran would be a big win for so-called America right now. All right. It would show them getting things back in order. It will be, as they say, a step in the right direction. OK, which is not going to happen, man. It is not going to happen. OK. So here we go. Hey, and that's beautiful because the last article. All right. It said that they found nuclear particles at 4 undeclared sites, but the last article said that it was only 3. All right. So, hey, they not only work in triple time, but Lord's willing quadruple time. All right. Let's just go here real quick. All right. But again, it shows, man, hey, this devil is about to be obliterated, man. Call Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai for that, man. All right. Let me see real quick if I can find exactly where it's at. Bear with me. Okay. Okay. He added, we found traces of uranium that has been subject to industrial processing in different places, which had not been declared by Iran. That is a big problem. Some people banalize this and say this is old stuff. We have to get to the bottom of this, not for any academic obsession of the Director General, but because it is non-proliferation relevant, right? So ultimately, like they said, they basically, oh, this is old, don't worry about it. But these are in places that have not been declared by Iran to this atomic agency, as all countries have agreed to do. All right. So basically every country, they agree to give them the locations of where they handle nuclear materials. All right. And then they go on and allow them to conduct basically walkthroughs, if you will, to ensure that they are complying to the international standard. All right. So when you see something like this, it's like a oh shit moment, because you have nuclear particles showing up in places that you didn't tell us you were using for nuclear capabilities or so-called peaceful purposes. All right. So, yeah, I'm just going to stop there, man. All right. All through the spirit, man. It's just beautiful to see, man. All right. Prophecy, popping off left and right. OK. And then here you go, man. You got Iran, basically enriching uranium, in places, that this agency didn't even know that they were doing that. All right. And ultimately, you can even reference back to when they made the original nuclear deal with Obama, which was some years ago, but even then, when this atomic energy, this atomic International Atomic Agency did their analysis or their walkthrough before, they didn't find this back then, but they found it now. Okay. So, yeah, man, we're entering into that time, man. We're already in it, but now we're just waiting, for the escalation of it, if you will. All right. So, yeah, I'm going to end off right there, man. Lord's will, you was edified. Definitely something to keep looking at, as, the Great Horde tries to, reel Iran back in. Okay. But I if we're being real, Iran, already has what they need. They already received a lot of money, from America. All right. So, anything of this nuclear deal with Iran, really it's Iran deceiving America, man. That's really all it is, because they don't need it. If we're being honest, they really don't need it, man. All right, sure, there could be some lifting of sanctions or some additional things on paper, for imports and exports, but man, they don't really need it, man. They doing exactly what they got to do, man. So Lord's will, you was edified. And in closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechak Wadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who do teach and rule well until it's just 100% truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the house of David, the hopeful elect. You Akim out there pushing his word in truth and sincerity. To those of you likened unto the speckled bird, scattered to the four corners, speaking in different tongues, unto you, and until next time we say Shalom.